Oh hey, I didn't notice you there. What the hell are you doing in my house? Well, since I have you here, have you ever wondered what the world would look like if America never imperialized? No. Well, I have. And today, I'm going to tell you how the world would work if that did actually happen. So come along with me and experience the history and the mystery of this new world. So going back to that question, what would the world and the United States look like if America never imperialized? Well, for starters, imperialism is how the United States of America grew in the first place. No imperialism, no westward expansion, no global superpower. So this is how it went. It's 1776, and the 13 colonies had declared independence and taken the new name of the United States of America. After they won the war against Britain, the Articles of Confederation were made to act as a temporary constitution. But this time, the Articles of Confederation didn't permit the United States to claim the uninhabited land around them. This area right here, this is all they had. And while everything was smooth sailing for a while, that was until Now, what was the acquisition of the West, you may be asking? Well, I was getting to that. Just wait, dude. Because the United States hadn't taken the land around it, many other countries saw this as an opportunity. Several countries started to send their troops to colonize the area surrounding the states. Great Britain, France, and Spain had occupied the most land at this time. This wouldn't have been a problem if the countries had gotten along. The countries did not get along. And when there are several countries that don't get along, what do you think will happen? Well, that would of course start. Alright, so what happened in this war? So we had these four countries going at it for like maybe a year, and Spain actually ended up winning. So they controlled what we now know as the United States for a few years. But the general who was in charge of the American-Spanish army, named Guillermo Boscana, really pissed off a Crow, like, to an insane degree. So insane, in fact, that the Crow got all of their friends together, and they just, like, rapidly evolved. So now these Super Crows, who really didn't like people, took over America in the span of, like, 2 months, and they named their newly acquired land Caca. Now, how would the Crows have the power to do this, you might ask? Well, due to their new intelligence as Super Crows, they were able to make new weapons to fight the humans. Weapons such as the Crow Grenade, the Crowbar, and, of course, the Crow Gun. With their new country, the Crows really didn't know what to do. So they ended up living in these big nests, and every night, the Crows who didn't know what to do with their lives would go to the Crowbar. That's right, the Crows were raging alcoholics. It was years after the war when the Crows did actually open their border. Because the Crows were actually pretty chill, and they loved alcohol, most of the Scottish population moved to Caca. Moving on. Of course, one can't talk about the history of this world without mentioning In this universe, World War II never happened. This is important because this means the atomic bomb was never made. Which is the reason that in our universe, the Glorbos didn't invade. But in this universe, there were no nuclear bombs, which means the Glorbos did in fact invade in the year 1947. So what does a Glorbo look like? They look like this. Terrifying, I know. When they invaded the Earth, they took over the leaders of each country and replaced them with their own. This really hadn't affected people in the way Glorbos had hoped would happen. So the Glorbos had started to attack people on the streets. You really couldn't go outside without the risk of getting laser beamed. But why did the Glorbos invade in the first place? Well, they wanted to feel feared because they were bullied in alien school. What ended up happening is that somebody poured a glass of water on a Glorbo and he instantly stopped attacking him. This was because the Glorbos were just really dehydrated and needed some water. When people found out about this, they got out their hoses and sprayed the Glorbos away. Honestly, it was pretty anticlimactic. But that was the brief year that the Glorbo invasion happened. Glorbos became a normal occurrence in daily life and were fully legalized to live on Earth in 1949. But that isn't nearly the craziest thing to happen in this universe, because that would have to go to... So basically what happened is in 1964, we had these explorers who found an ancient tablet in the middle of the Amazon rainforest that had the instructions on it to bake a cake. All the researchers had decided to leave this recipe alone because of the danger it presented. All of them except for one explorer named Charles Baker. No, I'm not kidding, that was his name. Baker had decided to follow this recipe and make it a cake. Yeah, it opened the hell portal. We don't like Charles Baker because he kind of ruined everything for a while. But yeah, this wasn't any normal kind of hell portal, it was a B-class hell portal, which is really bad because it means we had mean grandmas who didn't wish you happy birthday on your birthday. Blue people who eat babies. Really short people who ask how the weather is up there. Cats, but nothing changes. A copy of Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which is weird because games didn't even exist back then. Cyclops, but they got 2 eyes. Little goblins who run around and cut the brake line under people's cars. And big old barrels of corn, but it's like inedible, so it's useless. The only way for people to close this hell portal was to do a little dance. Once all the things that came out of the hell portal had been dealt with, nothing really happened. Until modern day, where everything looks like this now. Wow, so cool. Now, why does any of this matter?